Welcome back to the studio. So I have with me here, I have Mr. Tony Nwajai, who is the editor of Recorder NG. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Nigeria.
All right, and I have Mr. Madunagu Emeka, who is the editor of Metro Star newspaper. Thank you so much.
Hello, ma'am. Good day.
All right, so let's quickly go straight to the first discussion for today. Of course, as we've heard, the president has plans to reshuffle the cabinet. We have been hearing it as rumors much earlier than now, but I think now it's no longer a rumor, if we put it that way. It's now clear that the president is set out to actually rejig his cabinet. How do we feel about this? Do we feel that this is a needed move at this time?
Well, thank you. I think really the first question to ask is, what is the vision of this administration? Before you begin to judge people working for the administration, you have to ask yourself, what is the vision? What are the KPIs, the key performance indices? What are they? If you run, a system where anything goes, of course, you can't blame people who come to work and just sleep, or idle away much of the time. But if you have KPIs, if you have deliverables, then okay, within the first 3 months, we'll do this. Within the next 3 months, this and that. So that's why you see that all the ministers, including President Bola Tinubu himself, who is the Minister of Petroleum, they are not even sure of what should be expected of them. So that's why you just see some of them, like one of them that said that took a loan to buy sanitary pads for girls and to do a party and all of those things. That's why you see it's all been just, even one minister left, Samuel Lalong, that position has not been filled, and that minister was suspended. Better I do, Humanitarian Affairs Ministry, she has neither been recalled nor replaced. So the point is, what is the vision? The president who made himself Minister of Petroleum said from day one, he made a big blunder from day one, that subsidy is gone. But subsidy didn't go anywhere. In fact, it even became stronger and fatter. It even took on some more vitamins, and became stronger and fatter. So what this administration should do in reshuffling, look, you are still going to take Nigerians. I know there is one thing about us Nigerians. I'm sorry, pardon me if it looks, I'm not trying to denigrate the country, but there's one thing about us. If you don't give, and anywhere in the world anyway, if you don't give deliverables, if you don't give timelines, if there aren't certain things that people have to work with, they'll do your job anyhow. Like, look at the Sustainable Development Goals, that the successor program to the Millennium Development Goals, Of course, if you remember Peter Obi, when, who was the Labour Party's presidential candidate, he said when he was the governor of Anambra State, he guided his administration with the MDGs then, the Millennium Development Goals. So it was easy to, to measure the deliverables. But here, if you even ask Nigerians, what do you expect from this administration? You'll be surprised that people are not even really, sure. All they'll just tell you is about basic needs, food, shelter, clothing. But there are other things that, are supposed to be achievable. Security is there. Infrastructure is there. Education is there. We've not met 26% of what UNICEF recommends, for education votes, 26% of the annual budget. We've not met some other things. Again, one other major problem is, where is the cash backing for all those budgetary allocations? Deficit everywhere. And this administration believes that the only way it can finance its programs is mainly through borrowing and taxes. You can't run an efficient system like that.
All right, let's have Mr. Tony on this, and then looking at the fact that I think currently we have a 47-man cabinet, and
too unwieldy.
Sorry?
Too is unwieldy.
Well, so some people have the opinion that 47 is too much. Actually, he should also be looking at cutting down on the numbers, not just reshuffling. Okay.
47. I'm looking at the list of ministers and their portfolios, and there are some You don't even, like Minister of Tourism, for instance, Lola Adejon. So we have Minister of Tourism. Ibrahim Gaydam, Minister of Police Affairs. We have Minister of State, we have Minister of Water Resources in Nigeria.
Of course.
And we have Minister of Youth in Nigeria.
You seem surprised.
It's a waste of resources. And you have Matawale, Minister of State for Defense, Minister of State for Defense. You have a lot of them. I think the president made a very big mistake appointing. Anyway, I've looked at it, and I think what he did was to just compensate people who helped him during the election.
True.
Those are just, compensation, political compensation. They don't deserve it. Majority of them. And you're looking at them, they are not doing anything. So what are they there for? And then secondly, I listened to Baron Odugami saying Mr. President is going to reshuffle. What's my business with that? Appoint them, because I'm expecting another mistake. Because the present occupant of the presidential villa is a politician. So we keep compensating politicians, for political gains, for election purposes. Right now, all of them are looking towards 2027. That's the truth. So it's going to reflect in the new release. Just watch. I'm not anticipating anything good or anything better than the present. I don't think anything better than what we have now is going to come from that list. What it's going to do now is to expand this list to those people who are not, the boys who have not benefited so far. And then maybe do it for another 1 year and take them out and bring the rest. It's not a merit. It's a fact. It's a fact. You have a politician as a president right now, so all he thinks about is next election. He may be trying in other areas, but I'm not saying it yet. But here, in that ministerial list, the cabinet, I'm not expecting anything big. And in fact, why would I be excited about it in the first place? The ones you have, they are not working. So why would I anticipate that the ones that are coming up are going to be better than the ones because we have in this current list, we have governors, we have former senators who've been there before. We would think that the moment they assume office, things will start changing. So why would I be anticipating a better list from the president? I think we joke a lot in this country, and I'm praying for the day we all wake up and ask the right ask the right question. And it's not about asking the right question, and we follow up to make sure that these things are done. We're not there yet. We're joking. I'm not excited. If you have the list, announce them. I'm not expecting anything spectacular. There's no big deal. I'm not excited. I'm not feeling eventually. What's the big deal? You want to change the minister? Change them if you want to. You have a lot of them that are not doing anything. A lot of them. You don't wait for 1 year. You can change them in 6 months. You don't need to. If you said, and truly, just as Emeka said, if you don't have KPI, you don't just appoint ministers and say you go there sit. It happened under Buhari. 8 years, some ministers will just sit there because they know that the president is not going to do anything. How can you be a minister for 8 years? Redundant ministers doing practically nothing for 8 solid years. But even today, they mention their names. You won't even say, oh, this guy was a minister for 8 years. And the president was sitting down there. Buhari was the greatest mistake Nigeria ever made. Wow. You have ministers for 8 solid years doing nothing. It's just yesterday, so the records are there. If you're a minister, I'll set mandate for you, just like an employee. If you're not performing, if you're not productive, what are you there for? What are you there for? Where do you go? I don't need public feedbacks to know. I should be watching them. I appointed them. Whatever they do, at the end of the day, it's me. People are going to court or account for them. True. So if you're not interested in what they are doing, then that's a business. You must, the moment you put their name there, you must have their names and you must follow up them. Why did they appoint Hadiza Bala Usman in the first place? She was there to oversee the performance of these ministers. 1 year down the line, and nothing. We don't have to, all of them, including her. Okay. Just a waste of time.
Okay, can we just look at the ministries? At most, we would definitely say have ministries that would have done well so far within the period of time. What are the ministries you feel you could probably, give that clap and be like, yes, this ministry is doing well or has?
if you're going to make any pronouncement about education, you must think very well. It's not about saying people were in the house, blah, 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 till they're 18. Come on, that will not work. The policy for long, even when I was in secondary school, was 16 years. Many federal universities, Unilag I think started it, and then some other, tertiary institutions, joined. So, but of course, for the state and private universities, it's not really such a big deal. You're over 15, well, they feel, yeah, at least you can, measure up. So I think, well, if you look at maybe interior, maybe, well, because the thing is this, some of those things he recommended, some of those things he started implementing, especially the issue of passports, had been there in the books. The other thing is when you take people who are not intellectually driven, you see, they will not turn the job into rocket science.
Simple things. Like
simple things. Where did your predecessor, where did he or she stop? What are the things left unimplemented? For instance, okay, our PT went in agriculture because his predecessor was just busy building worship centers, instead of actually mapping out, a food security plan for Nigeria, like one of the former ministers, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina did, who is now president of the African Development Bank. Of course, there are certain aspects of his additional that people don't really follow, but people don't really support. Then which other?
Minister of Finance
Minister of Finance. He and the CBN governor. They need to go back to school. Yes.
Wow.
They are missing now. What are they doing? Why would you advise it? Why would you float the naira? On the basis of what? Our main export, our most viable export, is crude. You're still having crude theft. You have forward sales. You don't even know how many million barrels per day we produce. You said it was 1.6 million barrels per day. OPEC came and told you said no, it's 1.3 million barrels per day. So one, if you have a counting problem from day one, then how can we trust your pronouncements? So I think that's why I talked about the vision. What is the vision and vision? For instance, look at what they are doing with NNPCL. NNPCL should be taken to the stock market and sold to Nigerians with all the assets, so that let the shareholders decide. Those refineries, if they are going to sell them off, and some people can use them, sell them off as scrap, and some people can maybe turn them into estates or hotels or resorts, or something else. Because today, you see, it's technology. Why do you think Dangote can actually beat his chest? Because he has modern technology, sophisticated technology, and so the output is more. But you can't compare it to refineries built over 40 years ago. The technology is not the same thing. They have become obsolete. So now we don't have the kind of crude oil exports that we can say. And don't forget this, the production sharing, their production sharing contracts, 60-40. So by the time you remove all the issues around, how do you now? Why would you now be boasting that you are floating the naira to the extent that the CFA is now better than the naira? Okay. Then when farmers harvest, what do? They face the francophone countries, and then now, because of scarcity of foreign exchange and all of that, factories are shutting down and running away. Yeah. Yes, I know the Minister of Finance can say, okay, that he cleared the backlog, of the airlines, but with what? Borrowed funds. It's not with money made from Nigeria. You're talking of diaspora remittances. You should have more concrete, things you can hold on to in terms of, inflows. It's not expecting you have been borrowing. Your major objective is borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. And let me tell you something. Then let me come to the Minister of Petroleum. You went to Afrexim Bank and took $3.8 million, right? Loan. Meanwhile, if you check the cost of operations, of operations in the oil industry between January and June, you will find out that if we had, that's when we're talking about cutting the cost of governance, it's also about cutting the cost of running the system, running everything. If you had cut down the cost of operations, let me tell you something, we wouldn't need to be borrowing. We wouldn't need to borrow that money. Because, as a matter of fact, according to a report by the Guardian newspaper, between January and February, March, we would have made some savings, enough for us to even have that money we went to borrow. So first of all, this administration needs to, get the people who really understand the situation we're in right now and the peculiarities of the times. So that if you are rejigging anybody, bring in people who know the job, not bringing people from Lagos or bringing people because they are your cronies. No. Bring people who understand the job and who can help you with deliverables within the shortest possible time. Otherwise, you're there not 2027 and all of that. Look, people are not interested. They'll tell you, you can grab the power, but what are you going to do with it?
Okay, let's have Mr. for these top ministries that he feels,
top ministries.
I don't want us to go to the list.
Okay.
Because I know that it's going to.
Okay, I don't know the list, but I'm seeing some list here. I'm seeing the list here, and I'm laughing. You have Minister of Agriculture.
Oh no.
Advocate Kiari. I don't want to mention the Minister of State, of course, but if the number one minister is not performing, what do you expect from the Minister of State? Have Minister of Culture, Creative Economy, Anatu Musawa. I think she's another person I think is trying in the creative industry. Then if you add Bosun, I don't want to put Bosun to because Bosun was actually, people were thinking that once Bosun comes in, there are a lot of things will change in that
health sector,
communication and all that. But since it came in, it's like, it's not the way I'm seeing it out there, or maybe there's something there. When we are here, we
might not know. I
don't know what they're seeing there. Once they mean that you don't,
everything change.
I don't know, and then because I've seen. I said earlier about two governors that are in charge of our defense, Giedam and what's the name of this minister from Badero in Abubakar. I don't understand why we make two governors, give them the defense portfolio. I don't understand the logic behind the president. Behind that move. You're giving the defense, and then look at it. The governor of Zamfara State is accusing Matawale of playing a role. Whatever happened, with banditry, he has a role to play there. In fact, he sponsors them. And then those are the people the minister and the president deemed fit to appoint. You know what defense is? We have retired generals in his party, because I know majority of them came from APC. So if at all you want to, defense is very important. It's a critical ministry. So you don't just give it to politicians. And look at them. It's only Matawale you won't hear about all the time. I've never heard about the other guy. So we have a whole lot of them manning these ministries that I can only mention to Kiyamo and Minister of Interior. And why? Because of a passport. And I think it's bigger than passport. It should be big. 1 year is enough to have, we can make a mark within 1 year. 6 months. 6 months, don't talk of 1 year. I can't pick any up. When the maker was speaking, I was
weekend, we don't even know. That one is more of a megaphone.
He's a guy. So
we are looking at achievements
in terms of deliverables.
Where are the achievements?
And then then this week, because I'm seeing him now as the new Ajuri, by on Onuga, when he was saying that some ministers are media shy. You have to go out and sell the achievement of the president. Go and tell people what you've done. If you don't have anything to show, you can't tell, because you don't even need to come and tell us your achievement, because we will see it. You don't need to come. If you're a minister of works, for instance, we will see. These are tangible things you're going to do there. We will see. You're doing roads. You're minister of houses. You're building houses. There are things. The mandate is clear. This is your ministry. This is what you. Except the president is not supporting you. And if he's not supporting you, what are you doing there?
You should go.
Get out. So if you're sitting down, if the special advisor to the president of media is saying, ministers should go, and it shows that they don't have anything to show. And he said it about 4 days ago. Till now, nobody's coming. I think I saw Bosu Tijani coming out yesterday. Interior, coming out. The rest are still, because they have nothing to show. Is it not clear? If you have something to show, we should be the one telling you. We should be the one telling you. And you have platforms to show these things. You have it. It's a new world, and the internet is there. You can use Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Share your achievements. You don't need to go on NTA because, of course, a lot of I can't remember. I don't know that. Just go use a social media platform. Say achievement, but they don't have anything to show. So we don't need to make noise about it. Reshuffle the cabinet, like you mentioned Wike before. Wike is not in my list. He's a noise maker as far as I'm concerned. He used to be someone I respect when he was in Rivers State. As the governor of Rivers State, he did a lot there. But coming to federal, it's all about politics. He has lost it completely. And I think the president is enjoying it because he's doing exactly what the president wants. He's not performing. I don't see anything he's doing in Abuja. He has not started a new project 100%. He's just take a project that is abandoned. Let's just be realistic. He knows how to use the media, and it's working in his favor. That's what other ministers are not using so far. Because I don't see a situation whereby someone reports your office, you do it all the time, and the president is looking at you. You're not the only minister to make noise all the time. So I'm not going to use that yardstick, to score him high. He's not doing, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not saying what he's doing that to excite me. Other ministers, they are just there. They are just there, And then look at Minister of Labour, for instance, former governor of Plateau State.
He ran away now.
He has not replaced him. But I do is there.
Yes.
He's not replaced him. And then you need to bring this, bring the number down. You can't say it's hard time.
I mean, people are also speaking of merging.
Ministries.
No, you are creating new ministries. Ministry of Livestock Development. What is that for?
The one just coming.
Because the came out and said that we want Ministry of Livestock Development. So if I have enough crowd to make some noise in this country, and I say I want I don't know. I could just call on the Ministry of Media Affairs, and you should respond to the exigencies of the time, and what are the exigencies of the time? You must cut the cost of governance. You see, there are agencies that are actually taking care of some of the things these ministers are doing, and you find some of these ministries. In fairness, some of these ministries actually have agencies whose heads, are actually doing some work. But it's just that, there are some agencies, MDA, there are some agencies whose heads are actually doing some good work. But you just find out that the political head at the top, maybe is not well briefed, or is too distracted, because of course, some of them within the president's cabinet are actually having their eyes on governorship. Governor election in the states for 2027. So they are seriously distracted. And then when you now expect to perform, they are neither here nor there. So if, for instance, Wike knows the fact that, some other African nations are overtaking Nigeria as a hub for aviation, as a hub for certain other things, he will be more focused on raising the profile of the FCT. And who do they want to see as the FCT? Somebody, who is temperate, somebody with whom they can sit down and recommend business deals. But you are just either here nor there,
All right.
Yeah, he goes to the papers every Saturday. How do you?
All right.